Give him a good slap.
So the first Premiership semi-final sees Gloucester in search of their first Premiership final since the beginning of the playoff system back in 2003. Saracens stand in their way, and match commentary comes from Stuart Barnes and the Guinness London Irish Rugby Union Sports Journalist of the Year, Miles Harrison.
Thank you, Simon, for those kind words. So here we are at Kingsholm, looking a little bit different, but with the Gloucester faithful determined to make it feel just the same for Saracens, as it did for each and every side that came here during the course of the regular campaign. They all lost, and today here and over at Welford Road, the two most daunting of English venues, Stuart.
Yeah, daunting venues and formidable opponents. Gloucester are strong favourites today because of that home record combined with individuals who thrive on these fast grounds. But if Saracens can rediscover their form of a month ago, the likes of Glenn Jackson and a very bullish sounding Thomas Castagned could open up this semi-final. These next 80 minutes might just fly past.
The home team then in the first semi-final of the day, and Gloucester select Nick Wood, just as England have for the summer tour to South Africa. Carlos Nieto is tight head, and Olivier Azam hooker in what looks like a sturdy front row, to say the least. Second row doesn't look bad either. Captain Marco Bortolami and Alex Brown, two of the best in the business. Peter Buxton and Andy Hazel, the flankers, like Brown, getting England recognition this week. And it's Luke Narroway at number 8, after injury last week to James Forrester and Jake Bohr, who's denied his final game at Kingsholm. Peter Richards isn't. His last match before he leaves to rejoin London Irish. Ryan Lamb, as always, the potential to be the star of the day. He'll be right on that gain line with Glenn Jackson. The centres, Anthony Allen and James Simpson-Daniel. Of course, no Mike Tyndall at the moment. Or indeed, Ollie Morgan or James Bailey in the back three. So it's Ian Bolshaw and Mark Foster as wingers, and Willie Walker at fullback. The Saracens team, and after defeat at Six Ways, things are freshened up front with Nick Lloyd joining Kobus Vizaki. England call up Kevin Yates, is left out. Shane Byrne is hooker, he's in for Fabio Ongaro. The second row stays at Simon Rawalouis, the skipper, and Ian Fullerton. Gillies and Blaze did a job on them last week, and they will want to put that straight today. Paul Gustard is in for Chris Chesney. Richard Hill felt a slight twinge in the knee in the warm-up 7 days ago, but he starts today. And Ben Skirving is number 8. Neil de Kock and the award-winning Glenn Jackson are the half-backs. Andy Farrell and Kevin Sorrell go again at centre. Kameli Ratuvu frustratingly underemployed at Worcester. He's on the wing today with Dan Scarborough, who came off the bench last week to score a beauty. And he starts with Thomas Castagned as his fullback. The benches, and for Gloucester, James and Eustace are having to cover for the depleted back row. And for Saracens, Matt Cairns, an English tourist to South Africa, but a non-starter today in this Guinness Premiership semi-final. Alan Gaffney in the sunshine, beautiful day now. The cloud has burnt off, and the conditions are absolutely perfect, aren't they, Stuart?
Yeah, they are. Just enough grass on that pitch. It's pretty firm underneath, but it's going to be perfect for running. And you look at the way these two teams play. Gloucester, dazzling individual talent. It's a day made for the likes of Allen and Simpson-Daniel and Jackson, who want to put his Saracens on the front foot.
Saracens then, they are not here to make up the numbers, says Alan Gaffney. His side has worked hard, earned the right to be part of the end of season finale to the Guinness Premiership. They have proved they can compete with the best. Whatever happens today, they have progressed this season, no doubt, but Saracens will not want their season to end here, and they will not want to play like they did at Worcester last week. Simon Rawalouis, who led the side so well this season, and Glenn Jackson, what a week. The Players' Player of the Season, and more importantly, little baby Peyton's new dad.
And behind them all, Thomas Castagnette, you heard him talking to Graham Simmons, saying records are to be broken. If Saracens are going to win, he, one of the most exciting runners alongside the likes of Scarborough, are going to have to turn the half chances that Jackson can create into scores.
So a shot at something special for Saracens and also for Gloucester. 2003, the year of the first ever Premiership final, and the year that still hurts in these parts, a time when Gloucester topped the table, and by a long way too, but they got blown away in the final 4 years on. It's a new side. They've topped the tree again, albeit by the slenderest of margins, and this is now all about trying to get something to show for it and seeing exactly where this team is at. Marco Bortolami, the captain, and Andy Hazel, the Gloucester's Player of the Season, and Peter Richards in his last game at Kingsholm as a Gloucester player.
Yeah, Peter Richards, a really exciting runner, 7 specialists, so quick. And as for Andy Hazel, saying last week he wasn't expecting to be on the England tour to South Africa, but today was shed, and the Gloucester fans expect Hazel to be in Glenn Jackson's face. And on the front foot, what a season this open side has had.
Referee Wayne Barnes has had quite a season as well. He will be officiating at the World Cup later on this year. But that all to come. The setting here, Kingsholm, the destination for one of these two, Twickenham. And this is what the Guinness Premiership has been all about. Saracens wait, having secured early ball. They want to settle into their game quickly on this ground and try and silence the Gloucester supporters. That's Narroway doing well there under pressure to find Richards, but in goes Sorrell with an early and important tackle there. In the early exchanges last week at Worcester, Saracens were rocked by Worcester. They won't want to make the same mistake today. Castagnette struggling here. He's got the ball at the line well.
You're quite right, what you said last week. Saracens just lost every collision against Worcester and they didn't get into the game. That's a good start from them there. Chasing hard on the kick. Thomas Castagnette, just an early warning about this bounce. Nicely worked from Peter Richards and Narroway, but there's a very good chase from Sorrell. He really is the glue in this team. You won't hear talk about him like Scarborough, Castagnette, Ratavou, but he makes so much happen for them.
Taken by Bortolami at the line out. It's a good take from him, but it's been lost by Gloucester. They'll be annoyed with that loss of possession, but they'll be pleased with that from Castagnette. That goes out on the full, but the referee is going back.
The injury as well, Miles, down in the 22, going all the way back. 1 minute 45 ago to the restart there. Dan Scarborough taking a bang. He fielded the kickoff. Span into a man, came out of it. Must have been when he went down in the contact when the Gloucester tackle came in on him. Looks like shoulder.
Well, this will be a major blow for Saracens to lose Scarborough so early in the match, having made that decision to go with him and not Penny in this semi-final. Runs into his own man there, Ben Skirving, who's being talked about as a possible England tourist to South Africa now that Ben Cohen has pulled out of that squad. He scored 5 tries in his last 5 matches, including that one I was talking about last week when he came on as a replacement and scored almost immediately.
Yeah, he picks fantastic lines, and certainly with Cohen out, then Dan Scarborough has a chance. And today it is a subplot because this is about getting to the Premiership final. Liam Bolshaw, who will be disappointed to have missed out on the main party to South Africa, has a last chance, a chance he didn't think he'd have to impress. Now, he has not had a great season, but we know what talent he has, and another one who could thrive on these grounds. Good news to see Scarborough up, though. We keep our subplot, and we keep a lot of attacking talent on this pitch.
Both chosen, Bolshaw and Scarborough, in the Saxon squad for the Churchill Cup. So the original knock-on was from Gloucester, and Neil de Kock will put into this scrum with a new look front row for Saracens this week. Slight weight disadvantage, nothing major there though. De Kock to Jackson. Across comes Walker, and the bounce of the ball means that Walker doesn't have to play. Glenn Jackson, what a fine season that man has had, and he's been honoured by his fellow players this week.
I haven't seen an outside half play such aggressive rugby for a long time, week in, week out. Stands so flat, always looking for the half break, always putting the likes of Sorrell and Farrell into space. And when he wants to kick, he's got a very good technical game as well. Hazel will be after him all afternoon.
Azam throws, but it goes through the fingers, and Byrne is trying to get there for Saracens as Hazel was on the floor and couldn't collect. De Kock to Jackson, floater pass, here comes the interception, referee doesn't like it.
Knocked on by Andy Hazel. I think it's Hazel just knocked it on, otherwise Simpson Daniel has got him going.
It is for the knock-on, it wasn't offside. Simpson Daniel would have gone.
It goes, well, is it off the hands? Backwards there, but there, oh, it's a tight old call, isn't it? Hazel made contact with it. It can only be that. Simpson Daniel was gone.
The scrum positioned exactly where Hazel knocked the ball forward, question mark.
Stand up, please.
Wayne Barnes was in good position. Very important call that he's made there, because James Simpson Daniel was out of sight. Nobody would have caught him. Another man to make the full squad from Gloucester. Well, England squad to South Africa go in a couple of weeks' time for 2 test matches. Referees come round this side to check out what's going on over here.
Stay bound, stay on side. Stay on 7.
De Kock off a pretty solid platform there. Farrell.
And hands away.
De Kock coming this way. Scarborough is calling. Scrum half still carrying. Now it's Dan Scarborough.
Hands away now.
De Kock again. Jackson again. Now it's Saracens who knock on in the shape of Gustard.
Hands away.
Advantage here for Gloucester. And Richards to Ryan Lamb.
Advantage over.
No advantage now as Castagnette chips down the line. Willie Walker
Back if necessary.
does have to play it in the end. 22 dropout.
Bit of space on this pitch at the moment. Thomas Castagnette quite keen to kick the ball, looking for territory at the moment. Koch and Scarborough almost found something there as well. Wasn't a great kick either from Ryan Lamb, straight down the throat of Castagnette. As the game goes on, expect the Frenchman to start looking to counter on those situations.
Lamb restarts. Scarborough's call straight into the basket. De Kock, Sorrell. Been at the club now a long time. Kevin Sorrell, mid-90s. He's part of the cup final success at the end of the 90s. Part of the club then. Jackson, Farrell, good pass under pressure to Sorrell. Here comes Skirving, cutting back inside, and there's space in front of Skirving. De Kock was trying to get there as quickly as he could. Richards makes the tackle. Down goes Richard Hill to secure quick ball for Saracens. Gustard acting as scrum half. Another good pass from Farrell.
Well, the first touch was an absolute beauty, and we also saw the first sign of Skirving's pace. Forrester out for Gloucester, but Skirving is a quick 8 himself.
Chip from Castagnette. Now Gloucester are a man down. Saracens were suffering from the loss of Scarborough earlier in the match, and Andy Hazel is down now for Gloucester, and he looks in some pain.
Plenty going on at the moment, isn't there? As you say, Farrell involved, a couple of nice little flick passes, carrying back on the inside. And as Hazel is down there, he'll just be wondering about Glenn Jackson. Will he be able to get to him? Simpson Daniel almost did early. If we go back again, I think what you see, 2 guys circled, the guy on your right, Glenn Jackson, going forward. And what Jackson loves to do is play flat and hit these big missed passes. But Simpson-Daniel is thinking, I'm going to ask questions, because if I come hard and fast, can you do it all afternoon? Will you trust yourself to do it? On this instance, really, it's a marginal knock-on that saves Jackson and Saracens. But if Jackson doesn't do that, you will see more and more of Sorrell and Farrell coming back on the angle. So it's going to be intriguing how the Saracens midfield works their way around this question.
And as Stuart was talking there, the big cheer that you might have heard, that was for Andy Hazel getting back on his feet, still hobbling around a little bit, almost as big as the cheers when he was given the Player of the Season award half an hour before kickoff. Forrester and Ball already out of this back row, Boulding too. Gloucester have been suffering from injury problems in the run-in. Speaking to Dean Ryan yesterday, he said had it been November, he really would have been worried. Here comes Lamb. Often only Ryan Lamb knows what he's doing. But the upshot of that is that he knocked the ball on, and Saracens will pull into this scrum.
That's very good pressure from Saracens. I don't think Ryan Lamb actually wanted to come dancing off his right foot there, but Saracens put him under such pressure. Split second, he decided not to kick, and then he came off the foot dancing. That's excellent work there. Jackson's the man you see coming from out to in, and then Skirvin gets enough on him and the ball is lost there. Good pressure from Jackson coming from fly half in on his opposite number there.
Saracens arriving here knowing that Gloucester, the only unbeaten side at home in the whole of the regular campaign over the 22 rounds of Guinness Premiership matches. Now Bortolami is down for Gloucester.
I said it was a firm ground, but we're getting players going down left, right and centre. Dan Scarborough's also struggling still, you know. It's a mini battleground here. Scarborough's about 5 yards from the Italian captain there.
Peter Richards using the time to have a word with the referee, as he's London Irish bound next season, returning to that club with Gareth Cooper, the Welsh scrum half, joining Gloucester from the Dragons. Dan Scarborough is back on his feet. He's trying to get rid of this injury. Obvious replacement is the man that started instead of Scarborough last week, Rob Penny. Didn't quite click for Penny at six ways.
Great attacking position here for Saracens. Jackson will be very flat. You can take that for granted.
Yes, please.
That's why they need Scarborough.
Stay bound, eight.
He's part of this proposed move. He's coming in off his wing, maybe. There he goes, going with Jackson and Sorrell. And the referee blows up. Ball goes forward.
So aggressive in their alignment there that Glenn Jackson had no option but have just put it in front of Kevin Sorrell. Was a good tackle by Anthony Allen, who himself will look to attack Glenn Jackson's defensive channel. So flat, and there you can... I say there you can see the decision given. See them not given.
No, it's not that.
Richards, taken by Walker, taken high. Here's Simpson-Daniel on the counter-attack. Out to Bolshaw, in front of the shed, and they cheer him on. Encourage the chase, and they got a good chase there, the supporters in the shed. They'll be pleased with that. Castagnet knew he wasn't going to get long. Put under severe pressure there. Simpson-Daniel excellent here.
Well, it's good play from Gloucester, because Simpson-Daniel just draws his man because he's so quick, he frightens them, and Bolshaw's kick is excellent. Now, if that had gone straight from Willie Walker to touch, they'd have made about 30 metres. Instead, they've made about 75. They gave themselves the option. They took advantage. Simpson-Daniel doesn't get the ball in his hands enough at outside centre for Gloucester. That's a good early touch for him.
Azam coming round from his own throw and looking to use his weight now to drive on. But Gustard and Hill, the two flankers for Saracens, were there to make that tackle. And to Buxton short. In goes Richards again, to Lamb again. Missing out Bolshaw, given to Simpson-Daniel, might try and turn inside. But Scarborough did well. Just closed the door in time, and Gustard got across again. Little chip from Lamb in behind, and there might be a chance here now. Castagnet, did he take the man out?
Oh, that's...
Foster was about to score.
Time off, please. Go away a second. Go away.
You're calling it as I saw it.
Time off.
You're calling it as I saw it.
Go away.
I don't know whether the ball was getting away from him, but he was certainly taken out.
Yes. Was the ball still in play at that position? Yes. I'm going to ask a question of Jeff. In the act of scoring, whether the player was at an act of foul play committed against him. Okay?
Which Wayne Barnes can do.
I can check in the
Jeff
act of
Warren.
scoring whether or not foul play was committed. Okay? Jeff, can you hear me?
Foul play was committed, but was the ball going out here?
Can you tell me
What's
two
Castagnead
things?
now? Foster's going to come on your screen just about now. Castagnead can't get to the ball.
Play at that time.
He's in a position to score it. That's a penalty try.
Well, you can hear what the crowd think.
And is it a yellow card?
Could be the full house here for Gloucester. Penalty try and a card as well for Castagnead. He's making no effort here to play the ball. He's taking the man.
You go back and I'll explain what's going to happen afterwards. Yes, yes.
Well, that must be a yellow card as well, surely.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
And it'll be an injustice if it's not a penalty try. Lovely kick from Lamb.
There was an act of foul play. Can you tell me then if that will be a penalty try or not, Jeff?
Jeff Warren has to be sure that a try would have been scored. And I think he wants to see it again to make sure. Here we go.
Ball doesn't break away from Foster too far, does it? He's standing up now. He's going to get to that ball because that is not careering away from him.
I'm with you. I think a try would have been scored there.
Yes.
Only one man that matters, and his name is Warren.
Captain. I'll explain to you what's happened. The player was tackled about the ball. The ball was still within play. That's an act of foul play in the commission of scoring a try. It's a penalty try underneath the posts.
And they're going to love this here. Rarely has a referee been so cheered at Kingsholm
Took the man without the
as
ball.
Wayne Barnes is there. Penalty try, and Gloucester, aside with the highest of hopes, are going to get a 7-pointer here to set them on their way in this semi-final.
Castagnead, the man getting the pat there, but that try would have been scored. He had to hope he could get away with it. It was a beautiful kick from Ryan Land. Dead weight onto his boot. 7-0, and may I just say as well, I'm very impressed with the way that Wayne Barnes was in control of that situation. No panic, but let's just go back now to the creative process from Ryan Land. Simpson Daniel, first of all, step in. Good defence initially, but Lamb's dead weight kick here on the short side is a beauty. A hard ground, it can break away. Lovely kick. That's a penalty try.
Wayne Barnes in conjunction there with Paul Dix, the touch judge, who was asked a straight question and gave a straight answer twice. You can't ask for any more than that from the touch judge either. And Jeff Warren making sure, I think, the more you see it, the more you're in agreement. And Gloucester have a penalty to follow that penalty try. And everything's just taken off now here in this ground. We might be minus a stand, but we're not short on atmosphere.
No, you and I said as we were walking around to our temporary position, it was really noisy today. Gloucester fans know this is a big game and they're shouting their team, they hope, not home, but to Twickenham. And that is exactly the start they wanted. It's got the shed roaring even louder, and it puts question marks in the minds of the Saracens players. Once again, though, you know, a lot of praise for the officials there. As a team, I thought they were calm and cool and got it right.
Here's to Alex Brown. That line out from Azam. Lamb to Allen.
Backwards.
Just overrun his fly half there. Quite sure who was at major fault. That's one for you, but maybe it won't matter. We must watch this move develop now with Walker. Out to Bolshaw. Looking dangerous down that flank is Ian Bolshaw. Neil de Kock, though, has got his side out of a hole there. That is terrific play from the South African. Bolshaw is trying to get back, but now he's the defender. And Saracens are carrying with Skirving. He set it down.
The pass from de Kock to Skirving was brilliant.
And there's Raoul Louis.
Hands away, back feet, Ollie.
Good counter-attack this from Saracens. Jackson. Farrell.
Hands away, Wreck!
Louis flops that time and just leaves it for de Kock, who was brilliant there in defence, turning defence into attack, and that's a well-judged kick as well.
Well, that's all Neil de Kock, isn't it? A fantastic piece of counter-attack in there. Bolshaw again with that little chip down the right flank. And de Kock does brilliantly, just waits, check and spins him. But what really impresses, when he's made the space, the pullback pass there, look at the depth on that to Ben Skirvin, and again, Skirvin's pace takes him beyond the gain line, and also de Kock's kick at the end of it when it was slow ball was very intelligent. It's Glenn Jackson has got all the plaudits this season, but de Kock has been a very influential signing as well. Very good partner in that half-back partnership.
And just at the very end of that, it was Gustard who set it back up, and Saracens kept coming again. Promising signs for this semi-final.
Start moving. Yes.
Already have a try, an unusual one, yes, but the try's on the scoreboard. And that's the reason for the difference between the sides, that try and conversion, creating that 7-point lead for Peter Richards' side. Maybe he thought there should have been a little bit more length there in the kick, but to the safety of touch nevertheless, and here's Shane Byrne to throw in. And with 41 Island caps, a line in 2005 too.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, problems for Saracens last week. Ongaro hit hard early on by Latu. The Saracens line-up not great, and that's why Byrne is in. Give them good set piece.
Jackson opened up for him there, taken by Farrell, and Farrell carries very well indeed. De Kock gets there quickly. That was so important that he did. Castagnier. And it breaks down frustratingly for Sarries. Rutuvu was threatening on the flank.
Well, that's the threat of Glenn Jackson. It's not just the passing game. Because he's so flat, if you fade off him early, he will just hurt you. And Farrell again gets over the gain line. But that's all about a high-quality set piece. And that was magnificent from Jackson again. And Allen in the end just had to hang on to Farrell. Good riposte from the visitors.
Scrummages down far side, same ball.
Scrums will be interesting as well today. You know, Kobus Vizagi, since he came back from injury, has not been at his best. And he's against Nick Wood, the young prop forward in the news in the England Tour party. Very impressive this season.
Wood is going to South Africa. Vizagi in South Africa has won Currie Cups. And he had a Guinness Premiership title
Engage, middle.
to his club or provincial honours list.
Go back, feet.
Well, it's Gloucester ball, and
Wingers
it's
onside.
Richards away again, but once more, not too far down that line. Peter Richards knows that his side is still very much under the cosh here.
Yeah, I think Richards perhaps would have thought maybe no need to put that in touch, make the chase a good one and put Thomas Castagnier under pressure. Oh, that's off the side of the boot. That's a bad one.
Take from Fullerton from Byrne's throw.
No, it's okay. Back you go, Alex. Gus, back you can, thank you. It's still in. Thank you, mate. Hands away, 4 red. Back feet, just a little cut.
Slowed right down here now for Sarries. Forwards try to get it going again. Jackson now hits at pace.
Hands away, 7.
And Rutuvu off his wing leads to a penalty. Gloucester failed to roll away. He slowed right down, but they didn't waste it.
No, they didn't. What happened in there, you see, Gloucester trying to cut off the wide outside. We've seen Jackson now take it through himself, and that time using a short side man. So they're trying to play much closer to Glenn Jackson and ask questions of Gloucester that way, maybe hold them, and then they could go wide again. Nice balance. Should be 7-3. They've had a good 5 minutes.
will be 7-3. It's Glenn Jackson. He has scored points for fun this season, way out in front at the top of the point scorers table. That's what's happened in this half so far.
So even with a 7-0 lead, Gloucester will be slightly wary, because if they allow Saracens to play 70% in their half, this man will boot the points.
Yes, we know that. Glenn Jackson, 3 more to that total. And Sarri's first points of the afternoon, celebrated by their travelling band of supporters.
They're behind, but they're playing an awful lot better in the first quarter than they did just up the road at Worcester, you know.
Scarborough managed to avoid Foster with the kick, and it's gone a long way, and it's bouncing high off the hard ground. And Luke Narroway will be keen to take a quick one, and does Scarborough.
Bring them on, you okay?
He didn't charge down, elected to duck under that one from Willie Walker, and he can thump it from Walker, and that went a long way. Here's Scarborough's kick down the line. That was a good one too.
Magnificent kick from Danny Scarborough. Great technique for a back three there, straight down the tube between the touchline and the 5. That's as good a kick as you'll see from a wing today. And then Walker hits it back, but the quality of Scarborough's is such that he's got his team to throw in near the halfway.
Jackson, what we're saying about that gain line, right on it, well picked up by Sorrell, and Castagnier was on his shoulder, just couldn't get the pass away to him, dropped by Jackson. Not quite clicking, is it, for Saracens? It's nearly there, they're threatening.
Oh, they're close though, aren't they? They're close. I mean, we've seen Farrell and Jackson through, and Skirvin has started really well. Look how flat that is again. It's the missed pass. Raoului is the decoy, and Castagnier thinks, oh, please. Nobody would have stopped the flying Frenchman had he taken that one. Ball bounced from Jackson, but it was clever decoy work from Raoului. They're varying it quite nicely.
Richards, Lamb, Allen. That's the Allen step, and it's a strong step as well that the youngsters got. Richards again, Lamb again, Walker. Well, couldn't find Buxton, but as Wayne Barnes says, backwards, so Foster allowed to go on. Nieto was the decoy, big decoy. It was given to Wood. Lamb, interesting floater ball there, inviting Allen to run onto it. There goes Narroway, and Hazel, Bolshaw in danger of overrunning Hazel. Intelligent play from Hazel, didn't release.
Ian Bolshaw does do that, you know. He just sprints up and he needs to wait.
Richards again, looking to put in a big performance for the last time in front of the shed.
Still looking your advantage.
In Gloucester colours, that is. He'll be welcome back.
Bortolami out wide again. He loves getting this position.
The referee is going to award a penalty.
Willie Walker go for 3 points. It's a tight game. I would think that would be the wise option, but I've seen Bortolami be very aggressive in his captaincy at times this season and go for the corner. But Walker is a good kicker, and
5 metre 15, 22, sorry.
You know what, Miles? There was just a question asked by Bortolami, Rick's line. He said it's the 5, not the 15. Had that been the 15, I think Walker takes the percentages and the 3 points. On the 5, 10 metres wider, let's go for it.
Interesting, a few forwards there were quite convinced that Walker was going to go for the 3 points, and Bortolami gave them the call to say, come over here, we've got some work to do. And I think, having had a little huddle, those forwards are ready for that work now. Interesting call, aggressive call from Gloucester. And it goes to Alex Brown.
Put down very quickly by Saracens.
And it's a more.
But Gloucester have that ball in the air, and they look to roll this ball now.
Hands away, Shay! Hands off.
Richards ordering the forwards in. Now we want to play it short to Buxton.
Still digging up.
Nieto is going to leave this, should do, for his scrum half. He will. Richards wants more help.
Heavy artillery.
Hands away, 6!
Olivier Zam is waiting menacingly.
He's poised, isn't he? But he's missed out. It's given to Lamb, into Simpson Daniel, but that's forward. Whistle's gone again from Wayne Barnes. Good defence from Saracens. They were organised enough at the maul and then on the fringe. forcing Gloucester into the mistake in midfield, and it was forward.
Let's go.
Not a lot on it, but it was just faded it off the right hand there. Ryan Lamb shakes his head there. Good position gone, well defended by Saracens. Enjoying the way both teams are using the big men, sometimes as battering rams, sometimes as decoys. They're varying the points of attack. It's an interesting first 20 minutes to this game.
Crouch, touch, pause, engage. Pete, stay close.
Good pass from de Kock, Jackson, and still. Brilliant from the fly half. Scarborough kicks again down that line.
Take me back if necessary.
Willie Walker, look at this. Well, he just has to put it down in the end, and he'll be relieved that the ball did cross that line because Saracens had chased well. What about that from Ben Jackson?
Superb. I mean, he's a confident player, isn't he? He's under pressure here.
Ball's not in play.
Lovely little check. A good handoff. That's when he's in trouble. And then the pass. And again, Dan Scarborough's kick is excellent.
Okay,
the easy option is to bang that into touch. He's gained 50 metres and forced Gloucester to kick out again. Really good kicking game from the right wing.
Fly half to fly half again. Here's Jackson. Richards, oh, that's worked out for Jackson and Saracens. Richards had to make the catch, and then it was an easy push from Jackson into touch.
Mishit that, didn't he? It's going Glenn Jackson's way. You can see that's off the side of the right boot. And I think for a split second here, most of the crowd think it's out. It's not.
He was a doubt for this game right up until Thursday into Friday morning. His wife Fiona giving birth to their first child. Young lad called Peyton. So he will be feeling the world's a great place at the moment, Glenn Jackson, and he's showing that in his play. He thinks everything's possible. And it's just not based on the new arrival to the family either. It's based on the way the season has gone for him. He must be full of confidence, and Saracens feeding off that confidence.
Hands away, red!
Farrell, everything Farrell's done so far has been good. But not now.
Relax, nice and easy. There's too many bottles on there to go quick anyway.
Gloucester midfield handled that one. Farrell tried to draw two players and unload the pass to Sorrell. In the end, the two centres got too close to colliding. There you can see, trying to draw Lamb and Allen. And you see Sorrell come barreling in there, trying to take the short ball. That one didn't quite work. And then Farrell, as he has been at times this season, can get isolated. Gloucester get the penalty. But I think any thought from Gloucester fans that Saracens were going to fade out of the Premiership as lamely as they did against Worcester last week, they're gone. This is a Saracens team up for this game.
Andy Farrell, not the first player this season to find the upside-down Hazel all over him.
He's so fast over the ball when it hits the ground, and he just isolates ball carriers.
Samuel, Alex Brown makes a mistake. Mark that one. That's a rarity.
Quite
Great respect for Brown, isn't there, in the English Premiership, and so there should be.
Took his eye off the ball. It's as simple as that. I was just watching it right in our position there. It was in the right position, and Brown was actually looking to unload a quick ball there, I think, off the top.
Just a bit closer. Don't
And that is a rarity from Alex Brown.
Crouch, touch.
So close in our temporary commentary position here, you can almost throw it in yourself, couldn't you?
Not quite high enough to compete with Alex Brown, though, are we? See Paul Gus stood there trying to put pressure on the touch judge, saying that Nick Wood's facing it. Faces some pressure from Visagi on this near side.
Red, bring him just a tad closer. Stand up, please. Red, closer, please. I want you closer, please. Thank you. Crouch, touch, pause, engage.
As calm as you like, Wayne Barnes, isn't he?
Stay on, thank you.
Very
Stay
impressive.
close,
De Kock to Jackson. Here comes Scarborough. That's forward again. It's the disease of this match, and you can see the reaction of so many Saracens players there. They are aghast with that because it's their problem, and it's been Gloucester's problem a little bit too. As forward passes, players just not quite timing their runs to perfection.
Now, to be fair to Jackson and Ryan Lamb, theirs were so close. They were borderline calls. You knew what they were trying to do. That time, it was a set move with Scarborough coming round, and the coordination between him and Castagnet was awful. And he should never have just given it because it was cool. That was sloppy play.
Bit of a feed there from Richards at the scrum, but goes unnoticed. Here's Simpson-Daniel to Walker. Willie Walker. Again, the tackling is good. Scarborough and Sorrell. Hazel off the floor to Richards. Brown doesn't drop that one. Not just a line-out man either, Alex Brown. He's an impressive carrier and tackler around the field. Really added to that game with every passing year.
Slow ball for Ryan Lamb to deal with, if he deals with it. I think Peter Buxton maybe is thinking, let's just carry this forward, get some momentum. That's what Gloucester's pack try and do.
Buxton using his beef. Lamb missing out Wood. Narroway. Nizam the hooker. Ratuvu goes in. Two sides here slugging it out, aren't they, for the Twickenham prize. Richards. Knock on there from Gloucester, so turnover ball here for Saracens. Jackson, charged down by Lamb. Referee, if he's consistent, which he is, will come back for the knock on. Well, he's played it like that so far, so why change now?
Yeah. No advantage accruing there. It wasn't a long one. There was a charge down on Jackson. It was good pressure from Gloucester, but there's no way Saracens benefited from that. There are those of us who would just think that from a knock-on, when you get the ball, that should be sufficient advantage. Peter Richards trying to dart, no space there. When it's a penalty, it's different, but when it's from a knock-on, you get the turnover ball, you should say that is enough advantage. Jackson takes too long. Ryan Lamb in with the pressure, and then straight into Andy Hazel.
Just lost their way, haven't they, Saracens, last couple of weeks? Maybe a bit more than that, but before that, definitely were the form side. But away from home, just one win in their last 6. So that would have been a worry going into this match.
Yeah, they would think if they could reproduce the way they played when they lost 27-26 to Wash, they'd have a decent chance. But that's a while ago. The Worcester performance was poor. The Bath game, another narrow defeat. And that's an issue. They have been losing the tight games, which will worry their supporters.
Bizargi's not going off. Census Johnston can stay on the touchline. Big looming presence of the Samoan is not required just yet. But Bizargi is required to go again here. Something went wrong there.
Plenty going on in that front row there. Wayne Barnes just telling Nick Wood, you must stay square. A lot of weight comes through this Saracens scrum. Raoului pushes very hard.
They're replacing you, Cobus.
Wow.
Let's go, big man. That's a replacement.
And we're hearing from the Saracens bench just down in front of us. Graham Simmons, our reporter, is down there, and this is a tactical substitution. Zagi is going off, although there is a bit of blood there.
It's no surprise to me, to be honest, in the last month, because Johnston has been the better player, and he's got so much more to his game than just scrummage ballast as well. He's a very good all-round footballer.
Stay on, Andy, on, Andy, on.
Not just blood, Bizargi was limping too, so maybe that was a contributing factor. But the word was, it was tactical, and here's Castagnet's kick and Willie Walker having to deal with it.
Out of 10, out of 10. Yeah.
To Koch,
Advantage.
who's lost it forward. Now Gloucester clearly have an advantage here if they can get it quickly, which they do. Richards to Lamb. Didn't risk the interception with Jackson lurking. Taken by Bolshaw.
Clever little kick from Ryan Lamb there. He could see the mass black ranks looking for an interception.
Not now, Glenn.
And Bolshaw looking quite alive, prowling down that right flank today.
5.
Less than 10 minutes until the interval.
I'm going to save you. I'm not going to let you go when you've got men in their line.
Suffice to say, very important spell this.
Well, Saracens have done well since the try. I mean, they've won the game 3-0 since that penalty try, and they've brought themselves right back into it. So they certainly don't want to give anything up here. Another good line out again from Byrne.
And away!
To Fullerton.
No touch, we're okay.
Box kick from Neil de Kock. Doesn't really advance the Saracens' case.
No. Put that one in the box along with Peter Richards in the first half. Good position now for Gloucester.
How many? 4 line out. 6 man. 6 man.
You feel the crowd just trying to crank it up for Gloucester now as we approach half-time.
Yeah, because there's no doubt at all their intensity has just dropped off a little bit.
Here's Richards, who dropped off that line out and thought about the blind side. Nearly worked. It's been nearly half. It's been intriguing, but not as many points as people were predicting before this match.
No, there's not. I think we've had some injuries as well, which has taken a bit of the rhythm out of it. There's Census Johnson. Now, we were talking about what extra he can give over Cobus Visagi. Well, when you look at these stats, you can see there, makes more tackles a game on average than any prop in the Premiership. Patrick Colazzo and Nick Wood of Gloucester right up there, because the Gloucester front row worked very hard. But look at Cobus Visagi, 32nd in the list with just 4 a game. And as a carrier, believe me, Johnston is far more potent.
And if you're wondering where Colazzo is at the moment, he's got a broken bone in his foot. Gloucester's replacement prop is the former Saracens man, Christian Califano. And they have a free kick, and they take it quickly. And they're looking for what will be a very important score before half-time. Richards to Lamb. Simpson Daniel didn't find the ball coming to him on that occasion, but he's going to be employed now. And then Narroway.
And away, 12. Don't dive in.
Richards again.
Hands away
Alex
now.
Brown just setting the position. Lamb, Allen, working hard here, Gloucester, to find a way through, but they're having to work hard because Saracens have been very organised in defence thus far in this first half, but getting closer here, the home side. Azam starting to really drive hard now. Richards short to Nieto.
We haven't seen this game so far from Gloucester, the battering game.
Here's Lamb looking for a little bit of artistic pleasure out wide, and he might get it. Oh, that is Ratuvu going in, and the referee didn't like it. Bolshaw was climbing, and I think he's in trouble there, and Ratuvu could be in trouble too.
Yeah, dangerous play. Bolshaw caught the ball, and Ratuvu didn't feel he could let him land. He was so close to the try line, so he took him out in the air. This is probably a yellow card. I think he knew what he was doing. It's a super kick again. Ryan Lamb's little kicking game. Lots of variety. Good take from Bolshaw, and there you can see Ratuvu takes him out.
I'll tell you just what I've seen, and tell me if you've got anything to report. All I've got is a man in here who's been taken out.
I mean, whatever else you say about that, that is exceptionally dangerous.
I'll tell you what, it's very dangerous, and also that's a try-scoring situation. So I think the combination of the two says it has to be a yellow card. I mean, if Bolshaw holds on to that, even if cover gets to him, you see Simpson Daniel just lurking there. It's a 2-on-1 situation Gloucester have worked themselves in. There's the catch, Simpson Daniel, middle of your screen there. Castagne's coming across, but that was a real try-scoring situation there. If he catches it, he could score possibly. If he passes it, Simpson Daniel could.
Certainly can't be sure that a try was going to be scored that time, as we were with the... I'll shut up, sorry, just listen to the referee.
You must set a captain's example. Do you understand?
And Wayne Barnes was quite rightly ordering Ratuvu to the sin bin for that dangerous play. We were certain a try was going to be scored. The point about the Foster situation, we weren't certain there, but I think everybody would agree that Kameli Ratuvu cannot complain about 10 minutes in the sin bin after that challenge, that dangerous challenge.
Oh no,
on Ian Bolshaw.
Wasn't even hazarding the thought should it have been a penalty try. It was just there was a try-scoring chance. And Ryan Lamb has got so much control. Look at the weight before he puts the weight on the kick. I mean, I think that is a probable try. It's not a certain try, one way or t'other. But sometimes we see these incidents when people are taken in the air, and it's chasing a high kick, and it's marginal. That's not marginal, that's cynical. And that's why I don't think there's any doubt at all there.
Well, all manner of things might have been broken there, and Ian Bolshaw is clearly still feeling the effects of that challenge. And of course, we all know that Ian Bolshaw over the years has been dogged with injuries season after season. And just when he's got a chance of getting on the England plane to South Africa with Ben Cohen having pulled out of the original selection, and certainly was going to be part of the Saracens squad in the Churchill Cup, there's an emerging problem here for Bolshaw.
An emerging problem perhaps for Saracens as well. 5 minutes before half-time, Marco Bortolami, he's gone for the 7-point power play option once and it's failed. Will he do so with Ratuvu in the bin, or will he say, let's just get ourselves further ahead?
Watch on, underneath the player.
It's into the corner. Well, we've seen, haven't we, Nieto and Azam and Brown more and more starting to drive the big power players onto the game.
Like others before in this match, Bolshaw is staying out there to try and run off the effects of a challenge and what is proving to be a bruising semi-final here at Kingsholm. And with just over 5 minutes until the interval, Gloucester looking for this score to add to that earlier penalty try. The Shed have a perfect view of it. This is all about muscle, it's all about endeavour, as the forwards look to get that shove on. Now it comes to ground and Richards will have to release.
Good work from the Saracens pack. Now, what have the Gloucester backs got from close range? Or do we go Narroway at another drive?
Well, that's what Richards tends to like, that first option to use the back row or anybody who's around wearing a number 1 to 8 on their back.
Got a penalty as well.
It's getting very fiery out there. Saracens coming in from an offside position. And that in itself was cynical play too.
There's undoubtedly some pressure coming on, and Gloucester's pack trying to crank it there. Peter Richards making sure everyone can see exactly what has gone on there.
Well, number 7 came straight through. It was one of the head guards came all the way up the side.
Richard Hill penalised. Now, so far, Saracens have stopped these initial drives very well, but they're conceding penalties, and that changes the mindset a bit.
Oh, Azam has overthrown there.
Oh, he's so lucky.
Saracens have knocked on. Gloucester will put into this scrum. Yes, luck involved there for Gloucester. No doubt that that was the right decision. The pressure was building there, and Bortolami, having gone for that call, was always going to stay with it, but he was looking to trust his hooker, and it didn't quite work, and they get away with it. Stuart.
Talk about pressure building. That's starting to show it. Saracens conceded 6 penalties, 4 in their own half. What will worry Dean Ryan is the fact from those 4 penalties, Gloucester really have come away with nothing but a penalty try at the moment. They really do need something here. They've had possession and territory. They've got an exciting back line. They've got a powerful running pack. If they're going to be serious Premiership contenders, they have to come away from these positions with points.
Or they go to the blind side, and Richards, Peter Richards, in his last game at Kingsholm, where Gloucester have been unbeaten all season in this Guinness Premiership. But this is the most important Kingsholm day of them all. And Richards has produced there in conjunction with his number 8. Well, it's a sharp try, and it's an important score too.
Yes, it is. You want to put Peter Richards one-on-one because Ratuvu is off the wing, and Gloucester have a man extra because Ben Skirvin is off the scrum. He's on his own, and it's Skirvin who's quick against Richards, who's quick and mobile, and that makes the difference.
Taking full advantage of the man advantage. Peter Richards very aware. And his 3rd Premiership try this season is the one that really matters.
They just read that so well. They knew they had the extra man, a forward against Peter Richards. Richards gobbles up those situations.
And Walker with the conversion. Oh, that's a beauty as well, and Gloucester lead by 14 points to 3. They haven't had the territory until the last few minutes, but now they're making it pay.
There you can see, top left, Ben Skirvin, he's off in Ratuvu's position. Now, Ratuvu is quick and he's mobile. The Gloucester pack, because they've got a man extra, get the position they want, the step inside. Poor old Ben Skirvin, so isolated there. Nothing really he could be expected to do. They had to take a man off to mark that space. Gloucester's scrum, able to put the wheel as they wanted, taken full advantage of the sin bin.
Jackson restarts. And you could sense that Gloucester realised the significance of that moment and how they needed to take advantage of the extra man. And they certainly did that, and now Castagnet has dropped in front of the shed. They're loving that. And Saracens need half-time. They need to regroup here.
Hasn't happened for Thomas Castagnet so far at the moment, and he is one of the key men who can just turn games in a split second. And you're quite right, it's not happening for Saracens now. They fought back initially very well, but Gloucester got what they had to do. From the yellow card, they got the 7 points. Saracens will not go in thinking, blimey, they've had all this territory, all these penalties, and got nothing. It's ours for the taking. Saracens will now go into half-time thinking 14-3 down, and we're going to have about 7 minutes with a man short in the second half. Dean Ryan will say, right, 14-3, let's go out there after half-time and put this game away. Saracens have the capacity to strike back because they have individual ability. But Gloucester now, with that try from Peter Richards, have given themselves not just a margin of points, but they've given themselves momentum going into half-time.
Which is now just 40 seconds or so away. Lamb, maybe a little bit more before half-time from Gloucester. As Allen finds Walker, finds Bolshaw, and then Walker again. Allen just can't take that one, and Farrell gets there. Referee playing advantage for the knock forward. Bolshaw still struggling with that injury, keeps holding his right buttock, which is causing him a lot of discomfort. But he was flying down that wing and he was testing Saracens, who probably just want to get this ball off the field and get to the safety of the porter cabin. Here's Foster to Walker and Lamb. Gloucester starting to open up here. Simpson-Daniel.
De Kock was in really quickly there on Simpson-Daniel. That's why it's turned over.
And Gustav brings the ball away, and Saracens with Skirvin going through the middle, and Farrell didn't really have the support. Sorrell is trying to get with him. Farrell is put down on the floor. It's the last play of this first half. Byrne arrives. This is Jackson. Might as well have a go himself. Fullerton was the winger, and that wasn't the best option for Jackson. But it's turned around quickly by Foster, who goes after that. The ball goes out, Wayne Barnes checks his watch, and that is half-time, and Gloucester will go off to an almighty cheer here. In the sunshine at Kingsholm, they are starting to have things their way now. Good spirited performance from Saracens in the first half hour, but the final 10 minutes of that first half, and Gloucester adding to that penalty try, where Mark Foster was denied illegally by Thomas Castagnet, with a Peter Richards score. And that is a significant lead on semi-final day. Peter Richards, Gloucester's second try of the day, and if Saracens do come back, it will be a special performance. Don't write them off, but it's going to be tough. Gloucester at the moment, favourites for Twickenham.
14-3 to Gloucester in the first semi-final at half-time. Tries from Richards and that penalty try as well. Let's get back to Stuart Barnes and the award-winning Miles Harrison.
Cheers, Simon. Rather appropriate that Twickenham is sandwiched in between these two semi-finals, with the Army and Navy playing this afternoon in our second live game. The clear state of aim for both of these two teams here, and also in Leicester later on, to get to HQ for the Guinness Premiership final next weekend. The debate at half-time has continued to rage, hasn't it, about the penalty try in the first half, awarded by Wayne Barnes via our television match official Jeff Warren. Thought it was fascinating that we've got 4 Ex-players on the team, Will and Michael going no try, Scott and Stewart saying try, 50-50. What does that mean? You go with the attacking side?
Well, I think first of all it shows just how invaluable it is to have someone like Jeff Warren in that position to analyse the video evidence. That's what he does. I think you have to go with that. And I understand what Mike and Will was saying about, is it certain to be a try? The other side, of course, is do you just allow cynical, cold-blooded play like Castagnette to be absolved? I don't think you do. And in the end, I think it has to be Jeff Warren. Doesn't matter what the four of us think, Warren calls it, and Warren is right.
No changes made by either side at half-time, and no change there for Thomas Castagnette, who is finding it a difficult day here. That's a knock-on again from Castagnette, a little consoling pat from Neil de Kock, the Saracen scrum half, saying, come on, head up, we need you to be part of this recovery in the second period. But that won't help.
Well, using my best franglais, he's having a mare de nuit at the moment, isn't he, Thomas Castagnette? He's just losing balls, kicking badly. He's becoming an option for Gloucester to kick on him at the moment. He's just not happening, and he's been so good for so much of 2007.
Thought that was a seafood option. Here's Simpson Daniel. Explained by Wayne Barnes, the knock forward from James Simpson Daniel. Missed well, the early part of the season with that collarbone injury, but he's only missed a couple of games since his return against Saracens back in November. So he's got plenty of games now underneath the belt, and it should be very interesting to see how he goes, not only in the final of this competition if Gloucester progress, but also wearing an England shirt in South Africa.
Yeah, needs open spaces, should really benefit on those hard South African grounds. Should go well here, but at the moment Saracens are just stopping Gloucester playing with too much width. You do get the feeling going into half-time in the start of this half, if Lamb and Richards can start to unlock Saracens in the middle and create space wide, then it could be a long second half for Saracens.
2 minutes left on the sin bin for Kameli Ratavu. And got punished as well in the first half. Saracens punished with the penalty try. They were punished for the illegal challenge from Ratavu. As the boys were saying in the studio, it was the way he took the leg of Bolshaw that made him totally guilty. Now this is a penalty for Saracens, it's a penalty for Jackson, and it's a chance to get back in the match. If they get these points, they will believe that it is possible, and so they should. They are the kind of side that when they get it right, can score points very quickly. They proved that all season with the leading try-scoring total in the Guinness Premiership.
And there have been times in the first half when we saw the likes of Farrell and Jackson getting through the Gloucester's midfield. I wouldn't say Gloucester's defence is the greatest part of their game, so if Saracens can build some momentum, they do, as you say, have players to win semi-finals.
Slightly wind assisted this from Jackson, and he's going to get the distance. Flags go up to give Saracens the first points of the second half, and to give those supporters some heart as well. With Jackson in the side, with these backs that score tries, and a committed and spirited pack, it is possible, even at Kingsholm.
Well, 8 points is certainly no mountain for Saracens. They could now just keep playing the right parts, and look for the scores when they get the right quality ball. This guy Skirvin has carried really well first half. I know he was isolated for the try, but going forward, he's been excellent.
Johnson coming through now. Storming up the field, the prop, and de Kock is with him. And anybody who thought Saracens were just going to lie down in this second half, think again.
Well, what do we say about Census Johnston and the extra Kobus Vazagi doesn't possess?
There's Johnston once more. And Gloucester are finding him a handful. Byrne. Jackson to Sorrell. Sorrell likes to cut that line. He likes the crash ball. He does it very well. No
real option, though, because Saracens have gone very tight now. Raoul Louis, we haven't seen him charge either. This is more like the Sarries game of recent months.
Jackson to Farrell. Buxton makes the tackle. Jackson on the gain line and asking questions. Neil de Kock, Glenn Jackson. Castagnette was an option, but not for too long. Jackson looking to roll the right way here. Just flick the ball back and does. Neil de Kock Off and running again. Scarborough. Census Johnson was fancying another run there just outside the 22, and who would have stopped him from there? But it's turnover, and it's a chance for Gloucester to go from their own 22, and Lamb to Simpson-Daniel with Bolshaw outside. Simpson-Daniel against Louis. Now, did he leave out a trailing leg? The referee immediately says no. Buxton onto Walker. Willie Walker almost up to the Saracens 22 now. Simpson-Daniel there had a great chance to run rings around Saracens, didn't quite take it. Wood.
Well, he had run rings round them, and he's just unfortunate. He's clipped heels. It was through. So unlucky there.
Richards, Lamb, Hazel. This is Andy Hazel, and this is Narraway. And that is Gloucester getting their third try, and maybe flying into a final at Twickenham. That really sets them up now in this second half. And they didn't panic when the initial chance was lost. And here it was, Simpson-Daniel racing upfield. He had support outside from Bolshaw. Louis.
He didn't trip him, Miles. It's poetic justice, this try, because it's a 2-on-1. It's just an unfortunate collision. Louis gets lucky there, but Gloucester, who were unlucky, with Lamb again throwing the pass out. Look at Hazel's line and Narraway's pace. We said if they can get wide, they'll cause trouble. They did it one way, came back the other. Lovely missed pass from Lamb, super line from Hazel, and then Narraway is quick.
And once again, Saracens missing their wide man in the sin bin, who is now back on the field, and Narraway was the extra man. In fact, Gloucester had more than one man over. They stretched Saracens both ways. It was a good counter-attack. Louis didn't trip him. It was an unfortunate collision, but it turned out to be okay for Gloucester in the end. And now a conversion chance for Willie Walker to make it 3 from 3 and 21-6. High into the blue sky and through.
I think that's justice for Gloucester there. I think the try was going to be scored. It was probably under the post. As it was, Saracens did nothing wrong. They just got the lucky break. But Gloucester have just made them pay anyway. Lovely line from Andy Hazel. And Narraway is quick. And he's a galloper, isn't he? Waves from Azam as he goes off. Waves from the crowd as they cheer the try.
Changes are being made by both sides. Mervyn Davis has come on for Gloucester, for Olivier Azam as the hooker. And as Lamb clears, we'll tell you about a Saracens change, which is Chris Chesney has come on, and Paul Gustard is not out there now. So Chesney for Gustard.
Ryan Lamb's a player we talked about last year and at the start of this season, but you know, there's been Geraghty, Flood, Cipriani's name emerging, and he's been partly forgotten. But he is playing with great assurance today. His passing and kicking game is spot on. He's marshalling this team really well. It's a nice balance of Richards' flair and individualism against a nice controlling game from Lamb.
Skirving, lovely leap from him. See Ratuvu back into the action now, joins that emerging ruck, but it's Gloucester turnover ball, and they could go here with Richards. No, it's gone forward.
Stop, please. Want number 10 and the captain, please.
That should have been a try.
If players scream at me on the pitch, it will give me a little option what I do, okay? One man was on his feet, stole the ball, it's now a forward pass, it's black.
In this situation there, that forward pass, Peter Richards has got Census Johnson and Thomas Castagned somewhere in the distance with Bolshaw outside him. That was really loose passing from Gloucester. That might just have been a game pass there. 26-28-6.
Even with over half an hour to go.
Yeah.
Wayne Barnes, you may have heard there, just giving a very clear instruction again, this time to Glenn Jackson, who was obviously giving the referee a little bit of earache, and Captain Simon Louis was called over as well, and Wayne Barnes said, I don't want any of that. That is good as well.
Yeah, Jackson feeling that Gloucester are scrabbling around on the floor and turning over ball illegally, and he didn't like it.
Skirving to De Kock. Jackson to Ratu. That is a super line, and there was a lot of space. And he's a strong finisher if he's given the chance, and he was given the chance there to open up Gloucester. Castagnet. De Kock might go right here. He's got more numbers on that side. He does. Raoul Louis with Chesney, the new man. Penalty coming here to Saracens. They're not ones to write off this side. Jackson. Castagnet, lovely pass out to Farrell. That's a super pass as well. Sorrell, can he do it? Has he got the pace? He's got the guile. Just had one man too many to beat there, but it's still on. De Kock short to Jackson. Where's that going? Wasn't really a player there to collect it. Referee is going back for the penalty. That was a long advantage.
No, I don't think Wayne Barnes has got much wrong. I just think that's far too far and a long advantage there. Farrell's pass was an absolute beauty there, and Sorrell had a try-scoring opportunity. That should have been the advantage. Ball floated out. Sorrell doesn't quite have the pace because he has to check. Bolshaw's got him covered. Then comes the steps. I think that is a long advantage, and I think Barnes has got that wrong.
And Saracens are going for the kick.
This move goes all the way back to Ratavu. De Kock has pulled Gloucester's defence wide, and you can see that. And what happens there? Look at the alignment of the Fijian there. Fantastic line. As Gloucester are pulled towards the shed, he comes from the other side of the park, and suddenly there's a stretch one way, and bang. Beautifully worked. Saracens would say it deserves 3 points. Gloucester will say you had your chance to make it 7.
Certainly has to be 3. And is Glenn Jackson, with all the poise that we've come to expect from him, lands those 3 points. We do have half an hour to go, but we have a very different scoreboard now. Instead of Gloucester getting that extra try, which, as Stuart said, would have probably been the game sealer, now Saracens have reduced the gap to 12, and Glenn Jackson gets towards the 300 mark.
Nearly 100 clear of Ollie Barkley, and it just shows that if Saracens get territory, this man can kick them back into this game. 12 points is a handy lead for Gloucester, but they're not home yet. Oh, Skirving, excellent performance.
Skirving, as you say, again. But that is loose, and Anthony Allen might pounce, and does! Has he just done it? Has he just bought the place there? Time will tell. But that is a major blow for Saracens. It's hard to put into words how much this will hurt. Skirving was bringing them away. They just got the 3 points to get them back in the match, and then this calamity hits, and Allen strikes.
It's confusion because as Anthony Allen does some sort of albatross to celebrate, you can see 3 runners there, and Neil De Kock doesn't know who he's going to hit. It just bounces off a shoulder, and Allen will not score an easier try at Kingsholm. He's scored plenty, he won't get an easier one. Raoul Louis looks on there, but Neil De Kock had a phalanx of black shirts there, and he wasn't certain where it was going, and the receiver didn't know where it was aimed. Comes off a shoulder, it's absolutely simple.
No bonus points today. That is not what this game is all about, but that's the 4th try, and it comes off Fullerton, and Allen, well, as you say, it will not get easier for him, whatever game that he's involved in, and in a semi-final. That is on a plate for Gloucester, a gift of a try, and Bolshaw clears.
I just don't understand what Ian Fullerton was doing. A good second row, you need them carrying, but 10 yards from your own line, when Skirving has carried over the gain line, that was never the right ball to do, and I'm afraid he caused the consternation, and Saracens have gifted Gloucester what should be a lead that should lead to Twickenham. Saracens now are going to have to go high octane.
De Kock, Jackson, Farrell. Good pass again from Farrell. Matuba, who fell over there?
Simpson-Daniel was pushed.
Simpson-Daniel on the floor, and the referee didn't like it. Did seem to open up there for
Yeah.
Saracens as ball watching.
Watch this now. James Simpson-Daniel at 13, coming into shot. Kevin Sorrell blocks him. That's as clear a penalty as you'll get. I think even Will Michael Scott and myself could agree on that one.
I don't think there's a hung parliament on that
No,
one.
we don't need Jeff Warren for that. 28 points to 9. You can see now Gloucester don't need to worry about tries now. It's about points. It's about building a margin of lead that makes sure they go to Twickenham.
And also that they go to Twickenham in the right frame of mind. A thumping win here against Saracens, and the growing belief that will be part of Gloucester's week as they approach another Twickenham final. Well, that will be a major issue as well in the days to come. But this isn't one yet. Let's not go too early, but it's starting to look increasingly secure. It will be an awful long way back for Saracens if this goes over, whatever time is left on the clock. How well is Walker striking that ball?
He's a very good player, Willie Walker. Came from Otago as a fly half who could play full-back. Now, because of Ollie Morgan's injury, has slotted in there, but it's giving Gloucester something extra because he reads the game so well from the back. He has extra experience, and he's the best goal kicker in this team. It means Ludovic Mercier doesn't have to play. They can play the precocious Lamb. It's working very well. Walker doing a great job from 15.
Richards kicks, and that might be his final act in a Gloucester shirt, because Rory Lawson is coming on now, and Peter Richards will be involved, he hopes, at Twickenham. If that's what will happen at the end of this match, which looks increasingly the case, but that is the end for Peter Richards in this spell as a Gloucester player. And applause there from the Gloucester supporters to say thank you to Richards. Here's Lawson, the new man, and out it goes to Andy Hazel, who's had one of those buzzing games that Hazel puts in, week out, flitting everywhere.
And roll. No hands. Thanks, Ben.
Narroway's done well too, hasn't he, at 8?
Dean Ryan was very quick to point that out. OK, we've lost Forrester, we've lost Bohr and Boulding, in fact, but Narroway has been involved in 16 matches in the Premiership this season, so he's very much part of this side. Ryan Lamb, he's made good contact there.
Miles, he's playing one of those understated games. He's not going to get too many headlines unless he makes one of those trademark Ryan Lamb darts. But he's in control here. He's got this game in his fist and in his right boot. Reading it very well. 31-9. Turn it behind the opposition right wing. Send the opposition 50 metres backwards. Simple and smart play.
Wait, please. 4 Gloucester if you want to change.
Ryan Lamb, one of the many young fly halves emerging in English rugby. Flood, Geraghty. And Lamb's right up there with the rest. Hasn't been as talked about this season as he was last, but there are moments when Ryan Lamb looks as good as anybody out there.
What Ryan Lamb doesn't have at the moment is quite the physicality of some of the others, but nobody reads the game better out of the young brigade than Ryan Lamb. In fact, nobody reads it better than Lamb. Like Charlie Hodgson at his best, he sees things, he's a natural. He's a joy to watch.
It's like with all these things, if you could merge them as one player, you get a world beater. But that's not to say that the likes of Flood, Geraghty and Lamb as individuals will not progress to that point. They're still young, they've got so much still to learn. They'll be the first to admit it. But how exciting is it to sit during this period of English rugby when we can look ahead with great promise at fly half?
Oh yeah, fly half, and you think of people like Rees at centre as well. The academies are starting to bring through some very good players. Oh, that's no surprise. It's not been Thomas's afternoon, has it?
Lawson will have to have another snatch in there, and does. Lamb. Nevin Davis. Lamb inside ball. Foster away here. Mark Foster. And now I think they can start celebrating. And everybody knows it here. They're getting onto the travel agents now.
It's coming off the lad at 10 again, isn't it? Little fade towards the touchline. Mark Foster's waiting. Lamb goes wide, pulls it, and I'm afraid there Saracens have to have quicker men on the initial line against Foster. Once he's through, there's nothing Scarborough can do there. Heads in hand, Dan Scarborough. Elation for Gloucester there. They're starting to build the foundations that they want going towards Twickenham, and Dean Ryan, he won't give too much away, but he will want his team to just keep playing, build the rhythm. Yes, you can smile now, Dean, you're almost at Twickenham, but he'll tell you getting to Twickenham means absolutely nothing, as does coming first in the regular season. You got to win it, it's the big one.
Gloucester know that from experience, and how when they finished top of the league in the season ending in 2003, spring 2003, and they won that league by such a margin and then failed to win the final when Wasps thrashed them. And it still hurts here, and it looks like Gloucester at last are going to have that chance for redemption.
Alex Brown at his best, taking the restart. Rory Lawson with the box. Gloucester just want to get the patterns going here. Ooh. I must say, Saracens have helped Gloucester with their fielding of the kicking game, haven't they?
And that's a popular knock-on because it's Batuva who, of course, hurt Bolshaw in the first half. That has been remembered by the Shed. And that knock-forward gives Gloucester another chance to power on from here. 38-9.
Well, a pacifist institution like the Shed never like to see any violence anywhere on a rugby field, so they'll be very much against Ratuvu. Gentle souls enjoying themselves on a Saturday afternoon. And they will bring a lot of colour to Twickenham next week now, whether it's against Leicester as we expect, or who knows, local rivals Bristol. It'll be very noisy.
Either way, it is going to be a memorable occasion. Will it be 1 versus 2, or will it be that West Country battle at Twickenham? Here's Allen chipping through. Penny, the replacement. De Kock, well, it wasn't a great pass, and Buxton is going through, and what a popular scorer he will be here. Week in, week out, the effort that he gives has been thoroughly appreciated by all concerned at Kingsholm. Farrell, Saracens are just playing for pride here. Lamb to Walker. Simpson-Daniel needs to turn because the ball is going towards him. And it evades both Simpson-Daniel and Foster, but there's more tries in this, you know it, you can feel it.
Well, I've given Willie Walker the big rap, he's going to be disappointed there. Again, Lamb fizzed a really superb long pass across, and Saracens were stretched there. They really were in all sorts of problems, but Walker's pass wasn't good enough. Just, again, Lamb's technical ability, that's a fantastic pass. And look at this, Saracens have got Sorrell on his own. It's a straightforward 2-on-1 with Simpson, Daniel and Foster.
Christian Califano's on now for Gloucester. Off goes Nick Wood with a smile on his face, just down in front of us. Job done. Well, you never know with a prop, of course. That could be required later on in the match. But it will feel like job done.
Stay close.
Lamb kicks and down goes Seymour. I swear I heard a "Are you watching Stuart Barnes" there? I mean,
yeah, that'll teach me for tipping Gloucester to win this one comfortably, won't it?
Here's Jackson to Raoul Louis.
And away. Good back feet.
Long memories, long memories.
I could say a few things to the Shed over the years, but that was a long time ago. Boys, let's all be friends. Very different Gloucester team now, though, isn't it? Such pace wide. That's forward.
Forward pass there from Jackson. That's one the referee's missed. Farrell. Scarborough. Turnover.
Hazel.
Lawson. Here we go. Walker. Jackson is there, and he needs to get rid of this.
Miles, I've just got to go back now to that advantage over. It went into Willie Walker's hand, he kicked the ball, advantage over. Saracens had the ball for 25-30 seconds, a try-scoring chance, and he went back for a penalty. That is what drives players mad, what infuriates them, inconsistency. Brilliant from Hazel. He says knock on, and at this moment he goes advantage over. Now 15 minutes ago we had almost 2 try-scoring opportunities before he went back and said no.
Now, we have this debate every week, don't we? But there is a difference between a knock-on and a penalty offence. Anyway, we'll come back to that, because Gloucester are feeling rampant. They want more. The Shed want more. The whole of the ground wants more, even without the grandstand on this near side. Scarborough, though, trying to get something for Saracens. Seymour there quickly, trying to do a Hazel job. But then, again, Andy Hazel's in there with the tackle. He's driven away this time, but another key member of the Gloucester team. Backwards from Johnston.
And then forwards from
to Raoul Louis. Well, they're going unnoticed now. Jackson, Hazel. Play on, says the referee. Might as well. Hazel again. Hazel's away. Andy Hazel, listen to this. It's celebration time now. And Dean Ryan said this week that he had to pinch himself when he saw his side had finished top of the pile. Well, Dean, you've got to pinch yourself again, because it's Twickenham now, no doubt.
Andy Hazel scores the try, and again he was in with the tackle. Did it go forward? Just before then, Hazel had been the man spoiling the attack, and then he's the one finishing it. It's very quick, isn't he? He loves these firm grounds. Rugby life very good for Andy Hazel at the moment. Sometimes he feels he hasn't deserved the recognition that he's granted by the Shed. Well, England have recognised him, and I think there's a lot of people beyond Gloucestershire now understanding what a fine player he is.
Willie Walker as Gloucester start to eye the half-century. Five shy of it now. 45-9.
There. Once again, spotlighted Andy Hazel. He is now starting to get to Glenn Jackson. As Scott Quinnell said, 7s don't like 10s. Jackson is trying to make things happen. Bang! Looks to me like it goes forward from Andy Hazel, but it's spun around by Meffin Davis, and then Hazel, who started it, finishes it.
Well, there were a few forward moments in that movement. Maybe it just evened it out. There's Sorrell still giving it a go. He will never drop in effort levels, Kevin Sorrell. Oh, that's a good strong run from another man, another determined man, Raoul Louis. Saracens have a new scrum half in Raoul Looney, who's come on for de Kock. It's a tackle by Mevin Davis. And Raoul Louis, the captain, still trying to lead from the front in a very awkward situation now for Saracens, but it's good play here, and there's a chance here maybe for Lloyd. No, he couldn't get it onto Ratuvu. See that Powell is on for Farrell as well. That's Adam Powell, another promising young player. Jackson, Raoul Louis, and Raoul Looney waits.
Hazel's in there, you know. He's making it hellishly difficult. Great second half he's having, Andy Hazel.
You're allowed to steal the ball.
Well, he wasn't bad at the first half either, was he? When Saracens had more possession, Hazel was always there.
Front foot, back foot, he really is playing well.
The accusation with Hazel before, as Goodridge replaces Walker, is that he hasn't had the physical presence at international level.
Well, he's played in England teams, though, where they have played tight, slow, attritional rugby and a kicking game. If you want to play that sort of rugby, then you don't bother with Andy Hazel. But Brian Ashton plays a very different brand of rugby. He wants England to be able to play it tight, but to play it wide. And when you play it wide and fast, especially on the firm grounds England will encounter in South Africa and France, this guy gives you an extra dimension. And it's not just going forward where you see his pace. You can see there, you know, That statistic tells it all. Over 211 tackles, the only man to top the 200 in the Prem. And how about Peter Buxton, second there?
The Gloucester pack now minus Bortolami, who's off the field. Another man with a job well done today. Here is Andy Hazel's try. He's got great pace, no doubt about that over the years. As quick as any back.
But that's the point, isn't it? I remember, you remember the early days of Neil Back when people said he's too small. Well, it's how England were trying to play the game. They wanted to play bristling, bruising, attritional rugby. And he was too small for that. He didn't prove people wrong. England changed the way they played, and he became the right part to fit into the jigsaw. Now, I'm not saying Hazel is definitely the right man. Tom Rees is an exceptional talent, but with Rees not available for South Africa, Hazel plays it that sort of way.
And didn't England win a World Cup with the right balance in the back row?
Yeah, it's not just about sizes. You need the ability to win ball. And, you know, big men can win your line-outs and they can carry and batter, but it's the smaller man like Hazel, who, as we've seen today, is so fast to get down to the ground. Turnover is God in back row play almost.
And what a back row it was, of course. Hill, back Delalio. In a way, when that kind of thing happens, the following generations suffer, don't they, from comparison? I mean, there was only one Neil Back, a unique talent. It doesn't mean to say that others don't have claims of their own to wear that jersey. And certainly Andy Hazel is starting to prove that point. And as you say, Tom Rees, what a prospect he is.
And I think we can see today, I mean, it's difficult for Richard Hill, he's been on the back foot, but Hazel's extra pace has been a difference between them. So, passing of the old, the new are arriving.
Jackson, Rauluni, he's fresh, he's come on, he's got a big handoff, and he's trying to make that Gloucester try line. But they are in the realms of consolation already, Saracens, and the Gloucester are coming away with Lawson. Simpson Daniel can wreak havoc in situations like this. Oh, Bolshaw on this side, he's calling for it. Simpson Daniel, if he times it right, Bolshaw. Still Bolshaw. Foster. Really should have been a try. And Gloucester will know it. But it still might be. Here's Lamb. Califano. Narroway. He's scored in this second half. He's nearly there again. It will be a try. They're all enjoying it. Califano. He's got the old celebration as well. Slightly different to the others. But it's the 50 up. And it's all smiles at Kingsholm. This is party time par excellence.
Seen this before, haven't we? Simpson Daniel initially does brilliantly. He just lures people into his web. Should it go there to Bolshaw? He thinks he's going to draw the two. I think Ratuvu actually does it brilliantly to wade off it. Perhaps it should have gone earlier. Saracens, you've got to give them some credit there. But when Gloucester are getting quick ball, it's just too much. And again, the quality of passing coming from 10 is dazzling. And then Califano with a missed pass, and there you go. He's over again, and when he scored that try and celebrated, Olivier Azam looked up at us and shook his head and said, what is he doing?
Kicking and making an awful hash of it. Oh dear, that one won't make the highlight DVD for Lamb and Gloucester. But Christian Califano, well, what is this all about, this celebration?
Well, this is a disgrace. One of the world's greatest ever prop forwards doing that. And Olivier Azam just looked up to us in the commentary box. He shook his head as if to say, oh my lord, Christian.
Well, the others look rather graceful, as if they were birds just gliding in. Califano looked like he was laying an egg, and a rather uncomfortable egg as well.
You wouldn't want to try and nick it, though, would you?
Here they go again, Gloucester. And we said Saracens were looking for half-time just before the interval to regroup. My goodness, now they're looking for full-time. They need to get off this part because Lamb is waltzing through. Saracens' season is over, Gloucester's isn't. And Gloucester look as if they can score a try from every move. But they have to have the ball to do that. and Saracens will put in after the knock-on.
Some dazzling stuff from Gloucester. They had about 15-20 minutes in the first half, and you can see Saracens were still in this game, but it's been a 5-try second half blitz. Saracens, I'm afraid one has to say, have given up to a certain degree, but Gloucester have made them look poor. Dean Ryan's team are looking a dangerous outfit on this ground.
One more try and conversion and Gloucester will have recorded the highest ever score in the semi-finals of the Guinness Premiership. Wasps beat Northampton at Adams Park, didn't they? 56-20. So they're nearly there. It's a bigger margin than that. And they're enjoying every minute. And Peter Richards in his final game at Kingsholm getting a score. Luke Narroway, the late replacement for Jake Ball. Yeah, it was a bit more graceful, wasn't it? Allen, absolute gift. And that was the moment when we all knew Saracens had momentarily got back into the match. Foster, nobody could lay a hand on him. And then here comes Hazel. Again, no one in sight to make the tackle.
Onside.
Charge down, half charge down. We didn't get to see Califano, the giant chicken, but
let's see the score, but not the celebration.
Here's Jackson. Sorrell. Good running from Sorrell. Cairns
a good
and
ball
Seymour.
Sorry, Miles, a good ball from Jackson, wasn't it, on the inside? Just the odd glimpse still.
And you hope for Saracens that they do end on a bit of a high here, end with something to shout about, because their season deserves it. First ever semi-final appearance. As a club, they have progressed, no doubt about that. They have achieved a lot further down the road than they were this time last year. And Alan Gaffney and all his coaching staff and all the players at Saracens deserve a lot of credit for that. Although this hasn't been their day, clearly. Jackson, Retuvu. Bolshaw tries to get in there on Retuvu, but he is difficult to stop.
Should have made the tackle, though. Should have made the tackle.
Yeah, Louis offloads to Looney. Good effort this from Saracens. The pick and drive. Retuvu. Bolshaw getting help that time. And the annoying knock-on as Scarborough just kicks the ball away. And that's the corner where it all started going wrong for Saracens with the penalty try, which for them will seem a long, long time ago now.
I'm sorry, I didn't notice it.
Yeah, that's right. That was the trickle. It was then the yellow card of Retuvu that made the trickle slightly quicker, and then in the second half the dam has burst. And there's been a golfing class there. Anthony Allen is coming off now. He'll never score an easier try than the one he did. Here's the one that started the trickle. Started again by the deft boot of Ryan Lamb. And Castagnetti, who's had a miserable afternoon. The two protagonists involved there. It's gone very well for the fly half. It's gone horribly badly for the gifted French fullback, and also in his time a magnificent fly half.
On my engage, gents. Crouch, touch, pause, engage! Hands away!
Jack Adams, another promising young player on for Anthony Allen.
Covers you off your feet.
Proving once again how these players are coming through thick and fast in the English game. No problem about the reservoir of young talent.
And that's one of the things, one of the biggest changes in English rugby in the professional era. Gloucester, the home of hard, hoary, gritty prop forwards. You were almost a bit of a playboy if you were an open-side flanker traditionally. Now, Gloucester play as exciting rugby as any team in England. As you say, they are producing some wonderfully exciting talent behind the scrum.
Looney. Jackson. Well, if he's starting to make mistakes, then Saracens are in bother.
The men in black are waving the white flag now, aren't they? They have had a good season. I pick up your point there. Gaffney's got them playing, but it's very disappointing how their season has disintegrated, and in the end it's finishing with a whimper, and this will be a disappointment for them because this could undo quite a lot of the good work in the sort of January, February, March period, the way Alan Gaffney's team have in the end conceded.
Kicked on by Chesney. Oh, couldn't take it. Goodrich just did enough to put him off. Buxton.
I agree, he did hold on. First one knock on as he went through, scrummage.
But there is a great platform for Alan Gaffney to work with. So much good has happened. OK, they've run out of steam. Maybe that's what it's all about. Maybe the next level of their development is to make sure that the mind and body is right all the way through this long campaign, and you sort of have to go through these experiences to get to the next level, don't you?
Oh yeah, and you've got to find out who's got the iron will, because it's not just about talent. Gloucester want it. My question is, do all this team, do all this Saracen squad want it? We know they have talent. At the end of the season, the question has to be one that they haven't answered.
But it's a question that Saracen supporters will be delighted that they're able to ask after those barren years. Has been much more positive. It's certainly positive here for Gloucester, finishing top of the league in the regular campaign, earning a home semi-final and booking their place at Twickenham to meet either Leicester or Bristol, who, don't forget, play later on this afternoon. 5:25, our programme starts. This is Scarborough going through, just had to check with the referee. Was that legal? Yes, it was. All of a sudden, it's become Sevens. And Cairns to Scarborough. And that's credit to Gloucester. They're defending that line as if it's the first minute of the match.
There was a clear block as well.
Looney, referee taking a long, hard look at the line. Not quite close enough yet, Saracens. With one more big drive here. Determination here from Gloucester is very professional and very encouraging for the Kingsholm side.
Going to need to defend next week, aren't they? So good exercise here.
They're going into that match in great heart, that final. Let's hope the weather holds and we have a similar day at Twickenham. It could be a colourful and memorable day. Ball goes out. You need to start thinking about your man of the match.
Well, up front, Andy Hazel has been magnificent again, but my man of the match hasn't been at his mercurial best, but I just think it has been an understated, controlling game with boot and distribution. Ryan Lamb is my Guinness Premiership semi-final man of the match. Excellent performance. Every piece of ball he has used very well.
And he must have played well today to win man of the match, because there would have been some other candidates. Hazel would have been right in there.
He was. Brown's played very well too, Miles.
So that's just been announced to the crowd, and they approve. No more are you watching Stuart Barnes, just a gentle applause to say right choice. Jackson Scarborough. He's finding the space now. Cairns. This season isn't over. He's on the plane to South Africa. It's Powell, Adam Powell. Just get the feeling that one more try is required by the home crowd. It's being greedy, but offside there against Narroway as the ball came back off Bolshaw.
I think Gloucester now ready for Twickenham. They've set a target to keep their try line intact. Just 30 seconds to go. Saracen season has ended with a whimper, but Gloucester, they go to Twickenham with every hope of a bang. They have the ground in their favour. In Bordelami and Brown, they have a world-class second row. They have strength in depth, and they have backs who can cut anyone to pieces. They're going to be formidable opponents next week.
And we saw there Adam Eustace, who leaves Gloucester at the end of the season to go to the Scarlets in Wales. It's been counted down by the crowd. Final play of the match. And the next time that Wayne Barnes blows the whistle, he will signal that Gloucester are one step away from becoming English champions. It might be a big step. Winning trophies is never easy. But this team and this crowd are going to Twickenham, and that's all that matters today. And they are going in great heart as well, on the back of a thumping win in this semi-final against Saracens. Today for Gloucester, home is where the heart is, and that is Kingsholm. And what a great day for the Kingsholm crowd this has been.
It has been, and credit to the Gloucester crowd. We've got 1/4 of the ground missing, but it's been as noisy as any other day there. The sun has shone on what in the end was a fine second-half performance by Gloucester. We thought there was a gulf between Gloucester and Saracens, but we wondered whether Saracens with Glenn Jackson could bridge that gulf with their all-out attacking game. Gloucester's defence was better today than it has been for large parts of the season. Their attack was just as devastating. Dean Ryan's team must go to Twickenham in very good heart indeed. He'll be delighted with this. It's a great stepping stone to what will be a big occasion at Twickenham.
Well, Kingsholm looked very different today, but it felt exactly the same for Saracens. Still unbeaten on this ground during the whole of the league season. That is exactly what Gloucester wanted. The players have delivered to the supporters, and now those players are sending those supporters back to Twickenham to see if this time Gloucester could not only finish top of the league, but become the champions as well. And just listen to this reception as Gloucester, all smiles, leave the field. This is a great send-off. It really is.
The last time Gloucester were in this situation, of course, they had that break before playing was. They suffered badly, they felt they were the champions. This time around, the entire club understands how the Premiership works. There's no excuses. This is a team ready for a very big occasion.
They are building a new grandstand here. Maybe they should consider building a tunnel through the shed where the players can come out every week and receive that kind of reception. In the sunshine, they've got a suntan, they've got time now to book their tickets. They're off to Twickenham, and Ryan Lamb will be there. He's man of the match, and he's with Graham Simmons.
Miles, thank you very much indeed. Ryan, many congratulations on the win today. Semi-finals, bottom line, are all about just getting to the final. But how significant is it to get there in the way that you played today?
I think the momentum is massive to go in, especially against a team like Leicester or Bristol. They're both massive teams, so I mean, we didn't expect to obviously score as many points like Saracens. Cracking team, and they've been playing well all season, so this is massive for us, and we're just looking forward to the next week now.
Did you feel that the 2 tries you scored either side of half-time effectively won you the game?
I think they might try to chase it a bit more after we scored those 2 tries. I think we just wanted to keep to our structure, keep to our game plan. Half-time we just said nothing different, and just carry on the way of playing. And guys, this wasn't just an individual, it was a massive team effort today. Pack was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
We saw some great tries to say and some fantastic try celebrations. Birds, albatrosses, chickens. What was the theme today, Ryan?
To be honest, mate, it was just to win. That was the theme at the end. To win was the theme, and this support has been massive. It's been massive for us, so just what we can do is hopefully all these be next week, and it'll be a great spectacle for next week. Great spectacle for next week.
I won't ask you who you'd like to play next week, but let me ask you this: who do you expect to play next week?
Well, we've played both teams. They're really hard, so I think we're looking forward to the challenge no matter who it is. I think with the momentum we got now, we don't really mind who it is, so yeah, it'd be great for that.
Well done to you, Guinness Premiership Man of the Match. Well done, Ryan. Great performance.
And gouged by one of his own players during the interview there with Simmer. But what a performance by Gloucester this afternoon. Done it in front of the shed. They've campaigned all this season, haven't they? All the T-shirts have been out, save our shed. They've not torn it down yet. No plans at the moment still to tear it down, because look at the noise, the atmosphere they create, what it means to the players as well. They love it. It always lifts them at Kingsholm, and as a result, they have not been beaten there all season. They are the first team through to the Premiership final at Twickenham next weekend. Just a reminder that this afternoon we're at Twickenham as well, because coming up in a few minutes' time, we've got live coverage of the match between the Army and the Navy for the Babcock Trophy here on Sky Sports 3. And later on this afternoon, we'll be switching channels to Sky Sports 1, Sky Sports HD1, which is channel 408 for Leicester against Bristol. Winner of that to meet Gloucester in the final. 25 past 5. Can you believe how one-sided that semi-final was, Scott?
Not really. You know, you think Saracens obviously lost a couple of games coming into this, but they'd have to lift themselves because they don't get in this opportunity very often. But Gloucester, they were magnificent, and I think Ryan Lamb said that there. When they started chasing the game, Saracens, they made a few mistakes, and a lot of the tries in the second half came from those mistakes, and in fairness to them, they finished it off very well.
I mean, Ryan Lamb talked about momentum in his interview there, huge, and Saracens just lost all their momentum. It was punctured when they lost to Bath in the Challenge Cup. Since then, three losses on the spin. They've been poor. They haven't shown the sort of gusto up front that they've been doing January, February, March, and behind the pack it just hasn't quite been as fluid or as much rhythm as they had in those successful periods. So in the end, 50. If they'd played another half hour, it might have been 70. They get totally one-sided by the end of that game.
The perfect time for a result like that, though.
Yeah, Gloucester were very, very clinical. When they got chances, they took them. Their defence was outstanding. It slowed Saracens' ball down, frustrated them in the defence, and yeah, great win by Gloucester, and they go with great momentum into the final.
OK, after